Hey y'all, I just got back in about an hour or two ago. Ate me some dinner, and my youngest Jessie made me a bigger box because my little chicks are not so little anymore. They're outgrowing the tub that I have them in. And so I figured I'd let y'all follow along with me while I'm making a new setup for them. I know there's a lot of people interested in getting baby chicks about this time of year that's never had baby chicks before. So I was like, well, this would be a good vlog to share for those that don't know much about taking care of baby chicks. First off, when you get baby chicks, you need to get 4 or more. They are kind of like sheep, goats, cattle. You have to have a few. They just do better that way. Just one lone chicken probably would not be a good idea. You also want to decide on what type of chickens you want to get. And I introduced some of the chicks that I got recently. I'll put a link up above here or here. I don't know where to go. Where you can see the 6 different types that I got this go around. But do your research, see which ones will work better for you. You got an idea of what you're getting yourself into. Chicks are pretty easy to take care of. And when they become chickens, they're pretty easy to take care of. If you are starting a small little homestead of your own, I would advise probably getting chickens because they are the most easiest. Not saying that you can't have any problems with your chickens, but they are most likely not to have a ton of issues if you take good care of them. Next, I want to go over what you're going to need for your setup. So first of all, I put this in a cardboard box. I didn't want to bring the whole bag in. You're going to need some linen, some wood shavings. I do pine. I prefer pine. And it comes in a big bag. I think for $3 or $4, you can get it at Tractor Supplies, Rural King, any place like that. And these are going to go on the bottom of whatever you're going to put your chicks in. Or you can use paper towels. Some people use paper towels. They think it's a little bit of an easier cleanup. So that's your 2 options, paper towels or your wood shavings. Next, you're going to want to have something to water them with. I bought this. I had it from last time that I got one. It's just a little tray that you can buy. It's like a couple of dollars. And I have mason jars at the house, so you can put that in. And you just kind of lean it to the side and see how it's coming out, and it'll fill the bowl up. You have to be very diligent in watching your water because baby chicks drink a whole lot. If you get baby chicks that are bantams and they're small to begin with, you might want to put some rocks or some marbles in your water so that when they get in there to drink, they won't drown, because they can do that. Also, if you're using shavings, you might want to have something that you can set your water on top, because a lot of times the chicks will kick the shavings into their water source and it just soaks up all that water. So then you want to get a feeding tray, and depending on how many chicks you get is depending on what kind of feeding tray you're going to get. They have the tall one that's it circles around at the bottom. And if you're just going to get a few birds, that one would be real good. I got this long one because I started out with 15 chicks last year, and I just wanted them to have enough room. It feeds on both sides. It's a hole right here and holes on the other side. It's very easy. It opens up and you can put the food in. I typically like to just do half. I don't like to fill it up all the way, because a lot of times you'll notice that when the baby chicks are eating, they'll make a mess, and a lot of it falls down to the wood chips and it gets wasted. So I just fill it up halfway and just keep an eye on it, monitor it to make sure they don't run out of food. Now, the food that you want to get to feed your feeders up with is, you want to go with something that's, it says chicken starter grower. And it has, needs to have a lot of protein in it, 18% protein crumble. The crumble is easier for the baby chicks to eat because their beaks aren't big enough to get their mouths around a bigger pellet, so crumble would be best. But this is the one that I bought. There's different varieties of different ones, so you just pick which one you're more comfortable with. I like to try to get the ones there's no GMO in them, but it's your preference and what you want to do, but that's what I try to go with typically. And then you need something to set them up in. So from the previous video that I did showing you what we got, I used a plastic tub. It was a small kind of plastic tub, and it worked for the time being. Now I'm getting ready to move them into a cardboard box that's a whole lot taller and a lot bigger. And you want to keep this in mind because your baby chicks, they're not going to stay small long. So if you just want to start out with something big, that's fine. If you want to start out in something smaller and put them in something bigger later, that's fine too. I chose to start them out in something smaller so I could keep them in the kitchen where I could keep a better eye on them. Now I'm going to be moving them in here into the laundry room, and I got them into a bigger box, and I got them into a taller box because they will start trying to take flight, you know, and fly around a little bit the older they get. So you don't want them flying out of what they're in. And then eventually, towards the end, before I take them outside to be outside, I normally have to put something on top of what I got them in because they will come out of it. You also want to have some kind of light source. They don't have a lot of body heat when they're little, so they need some help with that. You can go with this type of light source, and it clamps onto something. I typically would not recommend this, but in our case, it works for us because my house functions, somebody's up all the time, either daytime or nighttime. Me and my youngest, Jess, we're night owls. Other son, Chance, he works and gets up early in the morning, say around 3 or 4, to leave to go to work. And then my husband, he gets up around 6 or something. So it's always somebody up. So we are constantly keeping an eye on this. But I would not recommend this if you don't have that type of thing going on in your house. I'm having to keep mine inside the house because I don't have anything outside that I can keep them in. The other option you can use, they have these things, and I don't know exactly what they're called, but they got a board that goes across, and then they have legs on the side. And basically, the chicks can go under the square thing, and it's heat source that puts off heat for them. And they'll go under there when they're cold, and then they can come out when they're not cold. So those are your two sources that you can use to warm your baby chicks. And as they get older, the less heat they'll need. So you want to keep an eye on that. So now that I've showed you everything that you need to have to set up a little area for your chicks, I'm going to show you how to put it all together. Here is the makeshift box they put together. It was 2 boxes. They compiled together to make one giant big box. And I don't know if you can tell the height on it, but it comes up at least about 2 feet up at the top. And so first of all, you're going to take your linen and you're going to put that inside of your little area for your chicks. I'm just going to take this box that I had filled and I'm going to dump it in there. Oh, little piece fell out. Alright. And so then you're going to spread this around. And just make sure the whole bottom of the area that they're going to be in is covered. And you're going to have to change this out every so often. You'll just have to keep an eye on it, and if it's getting pretty nasty, you're going to have to change it. I like to change mine every 2 to 3 days. I like to change mine out so it doesn't get really nasty in there. I'll go ahead and set my feeder in there. So I'm going to set it over here to the far side. Then I'm going to put, I've got like a plastic tub type thing, and I'm going to set it over here in the corner and move some of this linen out of the way. I'm going to set it over here in this corner and just set my water on top of it. And the reason why I'm setting it in the corner is so that it won't get knocked over. It's got something to set up against. And that puts it up in the air to where they won't kick all them shavings in there. I'm going to take my white and I'm just going to clip it onto the shelf right here. The other thing you want to consider too when you're shopping for baby chicks, and this can happen anywhere in hatcheries, Rural King, Tractor Supplies, all these places. Let me get a chick and I'll show you. So when you're purchasing a chick and you're able to look at one when you're purchasing mail orders, it's kind of tricky. You can't really do it. But you want to look at the back side of their little booties. And you see where that little hole right here is. And if there is some poop covering that vent, it's called pasty butt. And you don't want that. You want to immediately get some warm water and a rag or a napkin and clean that up and get that poop off of that vent. Because if you don't get the poop off the vent, it will clog her little booty hole up and she will die. So that's not a good thing. So, and even in your care, when you're taking care of your chickens, it can happen when you have your chicks in your little container where you're keeping them at. So just always, you know, every day I like to go pick up my chicks and spend some time with them and pet on them and love on them. And just to kind of, you know, let them get used to my voice and the sound of my voice, the smell of my skin. See, she's really calm. See, I can open my hand wide open. She's not trying to fly out. She's kind of gotten used to me. And so when I pick them up and spend some time with them every day, I just check to make sure they don't have any pasty butt. We're going to go ahead and put these guys into their new home. You can see how much they've grown. I'm going to show you the rest of the girls. So here are the rest of the girls. They're puddling up together to keep warm because I took the light off of them while I was cleaning their box out. So I'm going to go ahead and start putting them in here. Set you in there, little one. Grab. This is the Red Ranger I was telling y'all about. She's really fulfilling what they said about her being a big girl. She's bigger than all the rest of them. It's okay. I'll go ahead and put you in here. Get a little nugget in there. And see how calm they are when I'm picking them up. So they've gotten really used to me. I'll put them in there. And one other thing before I let you guys go. You want to take your baby chick when you first get them and dip their beak into the water so they know where the water's at. You want to do that and then dip their beak into the food. I hope that I was able to give some of you newbies some information that was needed. I do suggest that you look up some information yourself too and do the legwork. It's always good to do that. You retain it better. Not saying that learning knowledge from somebody else is bad. It's not. But I find that a lot of times when I look up stuff myself and do a little bit of research, I retain the information a lot better and remember it. I hope that y'all have a wonderful night. Please like or subscribe if you like this video and hit the notification bell to let you know when another video posts. Y'all have a great night.